David Martin is at the Pentagon. David, the U.S. and South Korea have already responded with military exercises. How do these types of actions work in terms of being a deterrent for the North Korean regime?
Well, I don't think anybody in the Department of Defense believes that these military shows of force are going to change Kim Jong-un's mind. I mean, long before this latest missile test, the U.S. was doing things like flying nuclear-capable bombers over the Korean Peninsula. So he already knows that the U.S. has the capability to annihilate him, but that fact just doesn't impress him, because he knows that he has got essentially 23 million hostages in the South Korean capital of Seoul, which is in range of some 4,000 artillery pieces that he has stationed along the border with between North and South Korea. And he has heard senior Defense Department officials, both civilian and military, say that any attempt to use military force to compel North Korea to stop testing missiles and developing nuclear weapons would almost certainly touch off a second Korean War that would involve a catastrophic loss of life. So shows of force are just not going to get it done.
Well, South Korea's new leader had been trying to move towards a dialogue with North Korea, but with this latest escalation and the U.S. ambassador to the UN discussing a possible military response, are you hearing anything more specific about what the Pentagon's planning?
Well, the Pentagon is going to give this diplomatic and economic track about a year, I think, to work before military options start really coming into play. For now, the Pentagon is taking a back seat to the State Department, to the U.S. ambassador at the UN, Nikki Haley, who today was not just calling for tougher economic sanctions against North Korea. She was threatening other countries that do business with North Korea with imposing U.S. trade restrictions against them. So she is now going beyond the usual diplomatic tact of imploring other countries to go along with U.S. policy. She is threatening other countries with real consequences if they do not go along with U.S. policy. And of course, the primary one that she singled out is China, because 90% of North Korea's trade is with China.
Well, realistically, can the U.S. deal with Pyongyang without China's help?
Well, anybody who has studied this problem for a long time will tell you two things. You can't solve this problem without China's help, and two, China will never give us enough help to solve the problem, because China has a greater interest in North Korea than just preventing it from getting nuclear weapons, and that interest is to keep North Korea from collapsing. And if it were to simply shut down all of its ties with North Korea, there would be the very real possibility that North Korea would implode. And to China, that would mean, one, millions of starving refugees suddenly on its border, and two, the almost certain presence of U.S. troops moving into North Korea to try to do something about the catastrophe of an implosion of the North Korean regime. So China always stops short of taking the kinds of actions that would really squeeze Kim Jong-un hard enough to actually give up his nuclear weapons program.
All right, David Martin at the Pentagon. David, thanks.
Sure thing.